Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jill from the Detox Girls, and I'm so happy you're here. And I am so beyond excited because I have my friend Bianca here with me today. And Bianca started out as a community member, somebody I met online, and quickly became a friend because we we're so in line and in sync with how the body works. And she took a very vested interest in learning more about how the body works. And now she has become an expert and a leader, and she's teaching. So welcome, Bianca. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So really quickly, I am going to do a quick medical disclaimer. Bianca and I are not doctors. We do not give medical advice. We do not claim to cure, treat, prevent, mitigate any illness or disease. We simply are two ladies talking about how we perceive the body to work, for you to utilize that for your own journey. And if you have medical questions or you want to apply something medically, then you need to ask your medical doctor, because we are not them. But I'm very grateful because we've learned so much along the way. And if you have joined the Detox Girls, you know that my other business partner, Shanna, and I started the Detox Girls, but we always intended for our community to come together, for other people to bring their education, their research, their resources. And Bianca stepped into that role very quickly. And I'm so proud of her for that, because she went from bedridden to thriving. And we talked about that in a previous interview. So if you want to see part one, that's on our Rumble. We can even link it below in the comments, what your journey was and how it brought you to this place. And this place being, you now teach people. You had a lot of research about parasites, how they work in the body. And then when we started to bring all of that together, how the body works and how parasites work in the body, that was where the magic happened with us, right?
Oh yes, it really was, and for me it was a huge game changer because I'd say I've been in the Detox Girls community for what 3 years now, but I've been doing this research for about 7 to 8 years, and I will say like getting on the group and getting the info that you girls have compiled was really the game changer for me. Whereas I mean, I've seen it, I'm on all the parasite groups, right? And I see people going about it in a very like kill, kill, kill mentality and eradication. And there's so much more to the parasite purging journey than just, and you girls have mentioned it so much. It's the full body remediation. It's not just about the killing. So no, it was a huge, huge game changer for me getting on the group. Yeah.
Yeah. So prior to coming in, okay, so what I would say is that when I met you, I didn't have as much knowledge about specific to parasites. My knowledge there was, I was still learning. I was still learning on a journey, and you taught me a lot about it. But what I did know is a lot about detox. I knew a lot about how the body worked, how detox can, if you do it wrong, can affect the body, because I had done it wrong. So it affected myself, it affected my family members. And it wasn't until I got to meet Dr. Christina Rom and she started explaining to me and reminding me that the body is one whole organ system, and that just killing things off is not the way that you want to approach a detox. So when I met you, I started learning more about parasites. So, you bring your 7 or 8 years worth of education and research to me, and I bring all of, my decades of research to you. And that's where the magic starts to happen, because you are seeing people do parasite purges, and I've been seeing people do like heavy metal detox, liver detox, those kind of things, all trying to target one thing, but that's not how the body works. So what would you say, either from your own history or what you're seeing in groups? And you kind of started to allude to this. People are killing off. What does that do in the body?
So killing off can actually just cause more harm in the long run. I mean, like you're mentioning, and I love it because like you had your pieces, I had my pieces. What happens is that, when you have parasites, there's other issues going on. There's an imbalance in the body that's happening, and it's not just the parasites. So you got to look at the heavy metals, you got to look at the mold. All of them are intertwined, and they all, heavy metals and mold is the breeding ground where parasites lay eggs, so you got to address that if you want long lasting results. And yeah, and that's what you guys have taught me. There's a way of going about, the heavy metal detox as well, which is something that I didn't know and that I learned with you guys. So at some point I fell onto the information about the cation exchange, which I've been screaming on the rooftops. And I love the way, you put it and the way you taught it. It just made so much sense. And it just gave me it just gave me and the people around me, or the people I was seeing online, it just made us get better results, long lasting results instead of, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I would say that when we met, you had been killing off or purging parasites, right? So you're killing off. But the question, okay, I'm going to give you a two-part question. You can answer one part or both. It doesn't matter. When you're killing things off, what's happening to what you kill off? And do you feel like parasites are a symptom of a problem? I don't feel they are the problem. I feel they are a symptom of the problem. But then I also feel that just killing them is also creating another symptom and a problem. Tell me more from your perspective, and then I'll fill in if I have something else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're killing off parasites, they release heavy metals within the body. And what happens is that you need to bind to them. You need to get this out of the body. And that's often where you'll experience, herxing, or it will redistribute to other parts of the body. And that can cause even more issues in the long run. So you need something to bind to those heavy metals, but you need something that has a strong thiol bond if you don't want those metals to be displaced to other areas in the body. So that's a big thing that happens when we're looking at, parasite killing. Well, you need something that's going to mop up the mess. And I love your analogy. I've heard you say it many times. I would love to hear you say it again.
Well, I'm the analogy queen, so give me a little bit of, so is this about
So the mice in the house.
infestation? Yeah,
Yes.
usually when I'm talking about parasites, it comes up with the mice infestation. So if you have a mice infestation in your house, you call the exterminator. When they come, they typically spray chemicals. Well, that's a problem in and of itself. Then it kills off the mice. Well, what happens? And I'm sorry, hold your ears, or if you've got little kids, pause here. It creates the dead carcass, vomit, urine, feces, noxious gas, ammonia, all of that happens. And then what happens there? You've got other critters that come in, and now they're feeding off of them. And now you have another problem, and you still have that hole in the house somewhere where it's letting all the mice in, and something is attracting them. And if the exterminator doesn't come back and take those dead mice out, what's happening to your home? Well, your body is the same. So you go in and you set a bomb off, right? And you have now gone in and done it maybe chemically, or you're killing all these parasites off. And back to that list, and I won't repeat it because I hope you're not eating breakfast. Back to that list of all the things that are left in your body. So if your detox pathways aren't working, which, by the way, when you have parasites, is an indicator of your detox pathways aren't working. So now you've killed all this off, but then everything is laying there in your body. And I will say, go back 4 years when all of the doctors were fighting for the ability to use ivermectin. I really respect that. I'm grateful that they said it. However, it was lacking the rest of the information where, oh, we're going to do this parasite purge, this parasite cleanse. But what are we using to get to the root cause of the problem? What are we using to eradicate that die off? What are we using to come back and mop it up, clean it up, strengthen the body, support the body, strengthen that digestive system? What are we doing on the other side? It's just one piece to the puzzle is what they were teaching. And I'm seeing the effects of that. So many people have said, oh, I've been using, ivermectin for 4 years. And I'm like, okay, let's start from step one. What else are you doing? And that's what you and I came together and we started talking. That was like my piece of the puzzle. And then you're like, that makes perfect sense. And the more you started to dive into that for yourself, the more progress you made in your own health.
Well, I love what you're mentioning about and it's also what you're taking to, for the eradication part. You see this so much online, oil of oregano. How many times have you seen this being promoted? And I'm like, guys, it's a nuke to your gut. You're literally killing off everything. Yeah. So somewhere down the line, if you use that, rebuild your gut flora, yes. Please.
I'm glad you said that because it is a great natural alternative to an antibiotic. If you are a person that doesn't love to go to the doctor, doesn't love an antibiotic, and again, no medical advice here, right? This is just, just two people talking. Yep. If you love oil of oregano, I love that. It's a natural antibiotic. Again, yet another thing that is not intended to use over and over and over and over and over. You're not, because if it's an antibiotic, it's killing off things in the body. And we need to have a good gut flora. We need not just probiotics. Too many people are, there's too many shots in the dark. People are taking a dart to a dartboard and saying like, you just need a prebiotic. You just need a an antibiotic. You just need a parasite killer. You just need a heavy metal detox. It's not about that. I'm going to say it until the day I take my last breath, which is we've got one whole organ system working together. If you're going to do all that killing off, you have to come back and strengthen the body. And that is, so why don't you talk a little bit about how you strengthened your body? Because I know that you are using protocols from Dr. Ram, and that is what it did come back and help to strengthen your body as well as eradicate out. Why don't you?
So definitely. Well, I come from a background where I was diagnosed with IBS, so like rebuilding my gut, because oftentimes when the gut is not functioning well, we're looking at leaky gut. So the point being is you want to strengthen, your intestinal wall. So one thing that was really a huge game changer for me was the collagen and cholesterol that Dr. Ram has. And I think this is the one formulation. I was mind blown at the fact, I think she created she was trying to get it manufactured. She was never able to find a manufacturer that could do it with the equipment they had. And then the saying like, hold my beer and I'll do it. Well, she did it. She actually created the machinery or whatever that was needed to create it the way that she had intended it to be. So there's like no two things on the market like this. Now it makes sense why it did such miracles in my body, right?
Yeah.
But it really helped. It helps repair the gut. Collagen and cholesterol is amazing at that. And I was another thing, what was it? It was children who were breastfed, who were not breastfed will have more of an issue with their gut because they haven't gotten that, since birth, the collagen and the colostrum, so you'll see a lot of kids who are, not breastfed that will have issues in the long run. Anyways, collagen and colostrum, guys, like add it in. Like if you're having gut issues, you need to repair your gut, add it in. So
I want to say a couple things about that. Number one, anything that Bianca talks about, please go down in the comments, because if you Google it, you go to somebody with an ad, you can't come back for support. Bianca's here to support you. So am I, but Bianca, using her referral code is how she can further support you. But Give Me Back My Youth is collagen and colostrum. So many people are using collagen or colostrum. This one is both. She did make that, Dr. Ram did create the machinery to make sure that it was produced correctly, manufactured correctly. And I love it. It has, even though it is unflavored, there are no fillers. Cannot find me another collagen and colostrum that has no fillers also. But I like to put it in my coffee, but I also put some, it's just a nice powder. It's a fluffy powder. And I put it in my mouth and I let it melt into the mucosal lining of my mouth. And that is a great way to digest it. And actually, it was a breakfast that I was having with Dr. Ram. She taught me that. So very important, but I also put it in my coffee because I'm no longer 29. So it's something that I have to do for my health. It's building my collagen. It's building my gut lining, making sure I'm staying healthy. It's patented for skin, hair, and nails. In addition to gut lining and lungs and all of these things. So we have scientific presentations. Just put in the comments if you want to watch the scientific presentation that Dr. Ram does on this. So this is just one thing, right? Collagen and colostrum is just one of the things that you've used. And it's not about filling your cabinet with 100 things. It's about taking those 100 things and narrowing it down to a small protocol that is multifaceted, that encompasses the whole body, because now we are going to kill off what needs to be killed off, but eradicate it out of the body, strengthen your digestive system, your immune system, support your cognitive function, support your metabolic function, and really just become a healthier person, not making any claims, but utilizing a protocol that is formulated to become an overall healthier, stronger person. It is patented for the reversal of aging. Say that again. It is patented for the reversal of aging. And I feel it in myself. I feel better now than I did when I was in my 30s. I'm way better now than I was when I was in my 30s.
Yep.
Yeah. So these are so that's one part of the protocol. And I brought up throwing a probiotic at it. No, so somebody who had IBS had all these digestive systems. I'm sure you heard that somewhere along the line. Just throw a probiotic at it. But I know that we use something that is not sorry, not only a probiotic, but a pre and probiotic with digestive enzymes and true nutrition. Can you talk a little bit more about Relive Greens?
Yeah, for sure. Relive Greens was another game changer for me. I can attest to this, and I will say my boyfriend can attest to this when we're talking about, passing parasites, the biofilm, the mucoid plaque, old impacted feces, stuff like that. The Relive Greens really help. Now, these things take time. Like, it's not something you're not going to take one dose and then, pass everything that's in your gut. And we don't want that. That's just creating more damage, right? But the Relive Greens is the one that's really gonna help, oh my God, break down all the biofilm, all that, those places where the parasites live. You need to break that down. Those are their cozy homes. You need to get to that if you want to have long lasting results. And what I found was really the Relive Greens do that. Like, for the first year of being on them, the amount of stuff that, I was able to pass being on them, that my boyfriend was able to pass, are like, I've been screaming it on the rooftops. Plus, you got the probiotics and the prebiotics, because chances are, if you've ever taken an antibiotic once in your life, if you've taken oil of oregano, which is great, that's fine. But if you've taken, you want to work, I mean, everyone needs to work on their gut microbiome. I think glyphosate plays a role in that. There's so many factors that will mess your gut microbiome. So Relive Greens really is a big game changer in that area. And plus, I love the fact that when you're taking these formulations, it's really about the way it was created. So it's not just, you're not getting like an isolate, supplement on Amazon or, one. So these are created really with the right catalysts, the right precursors. Your body knows what to do with them. You need to signal your body in the right ways. You can't just take this one thing and expect your body to know what to do with it. And this is the difference with these supplements, or with this Relive Greens. That's the difference. And yeah.
Right. So it's biohacking by stacking, which it's intended to do. So the other thing people do is, well, I'm going to buy, a prebiotic from here and a probiotic from here and a chlorella from here and a spirulina from here and a collagen from here. This is intended to work together. It is formulated to work together. And I will guarantee you, and reach out to Bianca in the comments, and we'll put an email address down there, but reach out to her, because it'll save you money. It will save you time. It will save you money. It will save you hassle. This is bioavailable. The body recognizes it. When you take synthetic things, the body has to take it in, and it's like, what is that? Now I have to break it down. Now I have to figure it out. Then I can start to use it. And I would say, and again, I'm just reiterating, I'm not a doctor, but when you hear doctors talk about take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D, I have to ask, why so much? Because when I hear Dr. Ram talk about microdosing and putting things in with catalysts and cofactors and make it work and it's bioavailable, it leads my thoughts to be, right? So I'm not the developer of it, but it leads my thoughts to say, well, then if she's microdosing and it has catalysts and cofactors, and they're saying 10,000 IUs of a synthetic hormone, vitamin D, my question to you is, which makes more sense? And to me, it makes more sense that you're taking something naturally that your body can absorb and recognizes, and that you can take. Okay, so now you said Relive Greens and Give Me Back My Youth.
Well, I think something that ties in would
Yeah.
be what happens when, okay, so we were talking about the cation exchange earlier. So basically your cells have like binding sites on them, right? And that's one of the places where the minerals and the vitamins and all that, that's how your cells uptake them. They go on that binding site and your cell is able to take it in. Well, what happens when we got heavy metals in the body? Well, they're on those binding sites. So all these minerals that we're talking about, the vitamins, you need to take off the heavy metals off that binding site so that the minerals can actually get into the cell. And that goes without mentioning. I saw you gals mention, I think it was called like the rouleau in French. Rouleaus, like, so when the blood is not well oxygenated and it stacks up on each other. So when this is happening, the vitamins and minerals can't even get to the cell. So like so detoxing.
And heavy metals block minerals. So if you are if you have heavy metals, you factually have mineral depletion. And then in the cycle that it goes in, so the initial problem is you were mineral depleted. Then you became heavy metal toxic. Then you can't get remineralized because the heavy metals are blocking on the binding sites. So you've got to pull off those heavy metals and at the same time bring back those minerals at the same time. That is, again, when I talk about saving money, I've seen other products that have said, like, take these 3 things
Yeah.
and you can remove heavy metals, and then you can come back and mineralize, and then you can address the gut. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Those 3 things are trying to accomplish the one thing that Dr. Ram made. So again, back down to the comments for the clean slate, because you'll need a referral code. So clean slate is derived from zeolite, but it is not zeolite. It's one of the things that most people have trouble understanding, because it is, since it's derived from zeolite, they're like, well, isn't it, it's, it doesn't say zeolite on the bottle. Isn't it a zeolite? Isn't it the same as this zeolite? It's not. It's in a whole nother class. It took a quantum physicist, nanobiotechnologist, bioscience engineer to figure out how to unlock the bioavailable silica from a zeolite. So she cleans it first, she unlocks the bioavailable silica, she cleans it again, she adds in trace minerals so that at the time we're taking off those heavy metals, we're coming in hard with the minerals too. So we're taking off the metals and we're putting in the minerals on those binding sites so that we're making those cells healthier. Because if you're not, you're ripping off those heavy metals, and what happens to that cell? It no longer has support and it starts to collapse in. What does that create? Autoimmune-like symptoms in the body. Happened to me. When you demineralize your body and when you are mineral depleted, it's also called mineral gapping, which is hard for a lot of people to find online. But when you're talking to a bioscience engineer, it makes sense that she has terminology that is so much higher than what we even have access to, that with the ability to Google. She often says that you can't Google this. This is research that we have from, from decades of research. It's not always Googleable. But anyway, so mineral depletion, and then the vitamin C makes it go intracellular, so beyond the cell membrane into the cell as a delivery mechanism. And then on top of all of that, I did mention she's a quantum physicist, so quantum frequencies, polarization, magnets. And if you've ever understood frequencies, we are frequency and energy. We are frequency and energy. We need water and minerals as the spark plug of life because we are energetic frequency beings. So she's using frequency within the formula to make your cells oscillate at a healing frequency. And it goes way beyond that, but that's a whole nother discussion about her research as being a bioscience engineer, one of only 19 with specialized training. You'll have to join us. Actually, if you're on our Rumble and you're watching this, you can go to the Ultimate Guardian, what is it to be a bioscience engineer, here in the Rumble, and go ahead and watch that, because it is, to listen to her talk about it, it is a whole hour, but it's fascinating. So it's very exciting.
This woman is like, I
yeah.
was mind blown at the, like, she's 20 years ahead of, like, she's using, like, I've learned about the P450 pathway with you girls, and I was like, damn, this information, like, people are going to be talking about this in like 20 years.
Yeah.
We have dibs on this information right now. What was it? At some point it was, I think it was
you have to be open-minded to understand that this isn't marketing. It's science, it's fact, it's so far advanced. It's more than cutting edge. It's beyond cutting edge. Cutting edge is like a discovery that's happening now that you might think is like, oh my gosh, this isn't new for her. This might be new to you today. It's 4 years old to me, and it's decades old to her. She's so far ahead of the curve, and she's speaking globally. Global people are bringing her to them and saying, we need to change our hospital systems. Science is evolving. Can you speak? She's actually speaking today at a very high ranking location. We can put that in the comments. I saw it on her Instagram. So really, if you can wrap your mind around the fact that what you're hearing is so far ahead, and it's not just basic detox, if you can set your own thoughts, feelings, need to feel like it has to be your research aside, you'll fast forward, you'll fast track your education and research by coming along with us on this journey. Because I've seen Bianca, again, go from bedridden to thriving. It's not uncommon in our community. Again, no medical claims, but we have people that have gone off their medications, and you will ask your doctor for advice on how to do that, because we're not telling you to do that. But people have weaned off of medications, overcome incurable diseases, stopped with addictions to vaping and smoking and drinking. They have
Yep.
eradicated the toxins out of their body, strengthened their body, and reversed their aging. If you just simply go into the Detox Girls to watch Shanna's transformation over 5 years, how sick she was, and to how she's thriving now, it is incredible.
And this is what the Detox Girls group does, is it's a, starting off your research, becoming your own doctor, so to speak, is like you have all that information out there that's super overwhelming. It's conflicting information. You never know what you're looking at. And then if you're lucky enough, you will fall on the Detox Girls group and they will put the puzzle pieces together for you. And then it's uphill from there.
We put it together. The miscommunication is that the Detox Girls is just Jill and Shanna. What I will say is it started out with Jill and Shanna, but we are a community of researchers, educators, content creators, helpers, supporters. We will fast track your research, and Bianca plays a huge part in that. So it is never it's never the they, it is always the we. And I say that with a lot of gratitude and authenticity because I truly, truly mean it. We couldn't do it without a community. That's why I am trying to make sure we bring everybody in to tell their story, because people are doing it wrong and it worries me, and it's going to move you back in your healing journey. We want to fast track your education so that you don't keep sliding back. That's right. I can see
Shortcuts.
Right, it's on your heart. Okay, so we have talked about digestive health, pre and probiotics, collagen and colostrum. Those are down in the comments. We've talked about clean slate for heavy metal detoxification. All three of those, and I want to jump into restore next, because all three of those work together synergistically to start to really get like cellular nutrition and get your gut lining restored and healthy, get the microbiome back on track. But when you have parasites, you by nature, you also have mold and fungus and yeast and heavy metals. And so those parasites are taking over, and restore plays a huge part in this. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, if your body is overwhelmed with, parasites, the one thing that I think is going to really help clean you out completely is the restore. And I mean, just look at it, ask for a referral code in the comment section and we'll send that to you so you can check it out. But look at the ingredients on there and just go online and compare how much this would cost if you were to get it all, on its own, all these ingredients. It would be so expensive, but like we mentioned earlier, you're not going to have the right ingredients together for it to function properly in the body. So basically it's an nano-emulsification. You got the black seed oil, black cumin seed in it, which has like the anti-parasitic properties. You have curcumin in it, resveratrol. I always butcher that. I'm in Quebec. Sorry, guys.
Resveratrol.
Yep. Aloes, and you have ACV in there. My raspberry ketones.
Yep.
But basically like this crazy. Oh man, no, you guys, you need to try it. It will clean you out.
So I want to touch on two things you said. One is if you compare the ingredients to each individual ingredient, you're going to be, I know things feel expensive, but what's in here is so high quality. And again, in microdosing, you don't need megadosing, you need microdosing, but you need it to work together. I had a PharmD reach out to me yesterday and she's like, I'm looking at these ingredients and my concern is the raspberry synthetic, because raspberry ketones are so extremely expensive. How would she have made this if it's that expensive? And I'm like, but you just hit the nail on the head. Her heart is to help people, not to make a buck. So she takes the highest quality sourced ingredients, and these are all patented. She's a patent holder for all of this. So the other thing you touched on was you kind of glossed over it. It almost becomes old hat to us, which is quantum nano emulsification technology. There's a technology in here that is quantum nano emulsification. So think salad dressing. If you took oil and vinegar and just poured it on your salad, they're going to bounce off of each other, right? They're never going to do this. They're always going to do this. You put them in a shaker, put them in together, and you shake them. If you can pour it fast enough, they'll be a little bit together, right? But they'll start to separate in your bowl or on your plate. If you use a mixer, a blender, you can emulsify it where they stay together longer. Now, if you put that in your fridge or you let it sit for a few days, it's going to separate. But the quantum nano emulsifier, so quantum being quantum like quantum physics, nano simply meaning size, particle size, getting that emulsification so small that it's not separating. And that's hard to do because these little packets, they have some oils in them, and that is hard to get it. So I always give it a little zhuzh. I always give it a little zhuzh. I like mine cold. My son-in-law likes his room temperature. The baby will and okay, I'm not all that. So it's all labeled for under 18, you have to consult a doctor, right? That is with every supplement, nutraceutical, anything that's not prescribed by a doctor, you have to check with your doctor. It's all labeling regulations. And she's labeled in 65 countries. So imagine how she has to try to label things, right? But my granddaughter is 1.5, and she will hunt me down for a packet of Restore. She
It
loves
tastes
it.
great.
Yeah, and she knows her body needs it. She loves how it makes her body feel. So if her belly is hurting her, she'll ask for it. She'll go find it. She'll take it from their room and bring it out. Wait till the day she knows how to open it on her own. We're all going to be in trouble, and we're all going to be broke because she loves it so much. But, these are not things that I'm worried or concerned about. They are from nature. They are all natural. Even it's as young as 1.5, she's using things, not at the adult dose. Again, I'm hoping that she doesn't learn how to open up the packet on her own very soon. But she's smart as a whip, so who knows? So, okay, so Restore is anti-parasitic, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral, anti-whatever, all the other things, but in the best possible way, because it comes back and it restores the gut microbiome too. It's not killing off. Antibiotic is against life, that by definition. This is not when I say it, it's the overgrowth of all of these things, mold and fungus and parasites. It biofilm, it eradicates it out of the body, keeps your digestive system moving. You've got to eradicate, you've got to be having bowel movements every day to eradicate that out of the body. It also shuts off cellular communication, which is something that most people don't understand. It's a technology. Puts a blockade around the cell to protect those good cells from the bad cells. If you've ever watched a video of cells and how they work when it comes to becoming cancerous cells, a couple of bad cells become cancer cells, and it's almost like a little gang. They're like, hey,
Come with us.
come join us. And so the goal is to literally take that communication and smash it on the ground and put that blockade around so that these bad cells can scream out all they want. Hey, would you like to come join us? But these good cells are like, cannot hear you. Right. And so we've cut off the communication. We've shut off our phone for the night. The do not disturb is on, and we're done. So again, biohacking by stacking. Not to say that you have to start everything all at once. Again, if you reach out to Bianca, she'll walk you through signing up. There's a program to keep you on a budget, to let you build up. The majority of the products, with the exception of Restore, last more than a month anyway. So it's easy to build on a budget. Okay, so we've gone through Clean Slate, Restore, Relive Greens, Give Me Back My Youth.
Can we add in? Yep. Okay.
Go ahead. We got to talk about the bed.
We got to talk about the magic little golden pill. Oh, yes.
I keep them by my computer, because when I sit down to work, I'm like, no, we're not working until this is working. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm up to 3 a day, and I can say I found my dose. Okay, so if you guys don't know Zero In, chances are if you have gut issues, something's not going well in there, your neurotransmission is shot. So we're talking, you're probably having issues, with anxiety, depression, that type of thing. A lot of neurotransmission happens, in the gut. So if you want an extra kick, so these little golden pills, the ingredients that are in there, it's an endogenous form of dopamine and serotonin. So you're not putting dopamine and serotonin in your body. You're giving the recipe to your neurotransmission, and then your neurotransmission goes like, oh, we know what to do with this. So we start producing dopamine and serotonin. And the awesome thing is that, was it the dopamine or the serotonin? There's one of the two that when it's not utilized throughout the day, it's converted into melatonin. So Helps you
Yep,
sleep.
serotonin converts into melatonin, yes. So now we're getting good quality sleep and resetting our circadian rhythm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
So no, zero in. And I find it really does help also with, when you're detoxing, a little herx can happen. So for my parasite purging peeps, herxing can happen. It doesn't have to be over the top intense, but I will say that the zero in really helps with that. Kind of gives you the boost of energy, keeps you focused, keeps you, no more brain fog. The brain fog is not, yeah, it just keeps you really in the zone
Yeah.
as you're eliminating things and restoring your body. So it's great for that too.
I love that. And so two things I want to say. One is if I I'd find it hard to believe that if you're watching, you or someone you love does not have ADHD, because it is very prevalent these days. It is golden for ADHD. So grab that you'll need, again, the referral code at zero in, grab that down below. But it is amazing. And Bianca found her dose at 3. There are people that'll take 4. I am a person that only needs 1. My brain is already on fire. My brain loves to solve problems. It's just how I'm wired. You give me a problem, you better tell me ahead of time if you don't want the solution, because my brain starts going through all the files. I know the answer. Let's find the answer. We can provide the answer. And I rein that in, by the way. And I reined it in with zero in. But if I take one at night, if I have a project to do, you can guarantee I would take one, because I would solve all the world's problems overnight. But I don't need one at night. I have good sleep quality, good sleep habits. So my good sleep habits, I am able to fall asleep without, my brain firing
Yeah.
on all the things. But if you're somebody who needs that help, you can take one morning, afternoon, and evening. You can take up to 4 a day. Some people take 2 before a workout. If you're an athlete, a lot of times your body is already like, wait, I know what dopamine is. I have a high need of dopamine. So you might need 2 or 3 before a workout. And everything we've talked about, what I love is you're in control. It's one of the things that the medical system has failed to incorporate thoughts into us, which is you're in control. We receive a prescription and we are given a blanket advice, 1 pill every 4 to 6 hours as needed for pain, but people miss the as needed and they just take it all day, every day. Or if you're taking a medication for whatever the problem is, it is 1 time a day, 2 BID, TID, and you're told how to take it and how much. These are from nature. These are nutraceutical. Your needs, like, just for example, Bianca's needs for zero in are different than my needs for zero in. You are in control. Take back your power on how much you need. Start one thing, start it slow, build up. Slow, but not a turtle pace. Slow but steady, build it up. How do you feel today? You feel good? Great, go up more. You feel good tomorrow? Go up more. You're good to go. So whether you're taking the greens or the collagen or restore, the clean slate, whatever you're taking, just build up on it until you get to that labeled dose, because then you will stay hydrated, your body will recognize it. And again, your body's like, hey, I know what that is. I know what to do with it. And then you get that, if you listen to your intuition, your body's signals, it'll even say to you, I need more. I need more of that. I mean, I've got a 1.5-year-old running around and she goes and finds the packet and brings it because her body is telling her. I will always encourage everybody, be like a toddler. If you know what your body needs, then listen, take back the power on that.
And I will say, if you're not used to tuning into your body, because we haven't learned that, it's not something you learn. So as you're learning to do this, there's a great video in the Detox Girls group that taught me how to do this. So if you're not familiar with sway testing, this is a way for you to tune in to your body's needs. So if you want us to share that video with us, just hit us up in the comment section, ask for the sway testing video, and we'll make sure to send that to you. It really helps.
Yeah, and we can send you a way to join the Detox Girls too, because then you get to see both Bianca and I on a routine basis, along with our other community members. Scroll through the Rumble here because we are highlighting all of our community members. Everybody brings something to the table, something that you can pull from. I mean, we have every topic under the sun, and we not even just physical health, but we also talk about emotional health. And I know that you and I have talked about that a lot too. We should probably touch on clean spirits real quick, Because emotional and mental and spiritual health impacts your ability to heal physically, as does your belief system. Do you believe you are capable of healing? Sit with that question for a little bit, because a lot of people and sit with it till it's uncomfortable. Sit in silence with that question for a few minutes until it's uncomfortable, and make yourself think about that, because most people don't feel, if they feel they're too far down the hole, they feel like there is no way that they're ever going to heal, and that's simply not true.
And I'll add to that. There's so many different ways of dealing with being ill. So it might be that you're comfortable with the illness, that the illness can be a way for you to, we have all different mechanisms like to survive or to feel loved. So it could be something that, that's how you feel loved, or maybe that's where you feel safe and comfortable because you've never known anything else, or maybe you feel you're not worth of healing. Maybe there's full of different reasons to that. And there are ways that you can definitely biohack your way through that too. And I can attest to that too. All these mindsets that you have are definitely going to play on your healing. And it starts inside. It's in your mind first. It's in your, well, I will say it's in your DNA also. From what I've been seeing, the genes play a huge role
Yeah.
on this as well,
Well, and
Yeah.
and listen, it's passed down a minimum of 4 generations. And not to put the blame on our moms and our grandmas, it's just the world they grew up in. But when you're passing down 4 generations of problems from your family, emotional problems, mental problems, gut health problems, toxic problems, it's okay to sit with that and think, am I too attached to my illness? Am I willing to let it go? Those are hard questions. They really are, but follow along with us, come with us on this journey. And because a lot of times what happens is you feel unheard. You feel like your friends and family have stopped listening to you. Nobody cares. And that's simply not true. They just probably don't know how to respond. Or maybe you have a chronic illness that you are really good at hiding, and then they don't understand how much you're struggling, and they don't know to support you. So it's just a lot of mental and emotional toll on your body, and then that can inhibit your physical healing. So I would not start with this if you're having some emotional issues along with your physical issues. I wouldn't start here. But can you touch on clean spirits and why you love that, and what that does in the body in comparison to clean slate?
It is it is a really amazing tool for, I would say, emotional healing, stored traumas, anxiety, depression. um Really great for the liver, amazing for the liver, detoxing the pineal gland, all that good stuff. But I will say, and I think a lot of us in the community have experienced this, and I think I would have to agree that I wouldn't necessarily want to start there because it can be a roller coaster of emotions. I would suggest having a safe place and time to go through these waves of emotions. And I mean, emotions are completely normal. We're human beings. We get the chance to experience these emotions, but make sure you have a place where you can do this, because it will. I mean, a lot of us in the community, my family, we started dreaming of, traumas that we had picked up, way behind, like many years ago. We started processing this in our dreams, old memories that are coming up, bouts of rage, bouts of crying, and it was just huge releases. And depending on, detoxing, which organ you're detoxing, different emotions can come up and that kind of stuff. But it's amazing. It's an amazing process. And hopefully, I think I would wish that everyone loves themselves enough to give themselves that shot at addressing these things that are stuck deep down, because and we are worth it. We are really worth it. And clean spirits can be a nice little ally for that. But yeah, make sure you have the space for that.
Yeah. So I agree with that, because when you're having an emotional detox, anytime you have any sort of detox out of the body, a lot of people panic. Oh, I have a rash on my skin, or I have a headache, which is often a sign of mineral depletion and hydration. Or I had to go to the bathroom a little bit more than I normally do. And people look at that as a negative. But when something's in your body and it's not welcome in your body and it's not supposed to be there, has to work its way out somehow. So if you're going to face an emotional detox, again, starting slow, but I would start clean slate for at least 3 months, maybe 6. Work up, get comfortable with that, all of the things, because clean spirits incorporates clean slate and then is elevated on top of that. It's a more liver focused detox, even though we talk about one whole organ system. And I will tell you that like just a liver cleanse is almost impossible. It is just more liver focused. So if there are some additional ingredients that make it a little more liver focused, like NAC and milk thistle. Those are just more liver focused. But do it at a time where you have support. Make sure you have support. Make sure that you are honest with your family, because those that you're living with need to know if you do have a little bit of anger coming out, or you are, tearful a little more than normal. Don't do it when you have your, like a family reunion and you have to be on your best behavior. Do it at a time where you can be honest with those that are around you. Ask for support, be upfront, and say, if I'm having any emotional reactions, I'd like you to bear with me and I'd like you to support me through it, and then embrace it. How do you embrace your emotions best? Loud music, complete silence, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a drive, go for a walk on a wooded path and just sit in complete silence. Whatever that is to you, read the Bible, pray, meditate, whatever it is to you. It's going to be different for everybody. But it is somebody, when I was having an emotional detox, somebody said to me, "Oh, I think you're having an emotional detox." And it was like, that makes perfect sense. And as soon as they said it, I started to embrace it. And the second I started to embrace it, it went faster, it was easier, and I worked through it. And it was like I was able to not just have it release a little bit. I was ready to release it. I let it go. And it was the best thing that could have happened. And it's just, you don't want to be fearful when it comes to detoxing, to eradicating those bad things out of the body, no matter what those things are, emotional, physical, whatever it is, whatever invaders are invading your body.
And I say, I feel like you're making me realize it's kind of like a muscle that you can train, also like emotional detoxing. I've realized since being on the latest Clean Spirits line that it gets easier. You kind of get used to the process of letting go of emotions. And yeah, you just get familiar with it. You train that muscle. So then when you see an emotion come up, instead of holding on to it like a lot of us are used to doing and just storing it in there, you're able to just, let it pass through you, and you don't become the emotion. You just let it, I love that. I love that.
Right. And it's okay to walk your journey in the time that is best for you. Don't do an emotional detox until you're ready to do an emotional detox. Don't start something new the night before the world's biggest presentation at your office. I mean, just sit with it and make it make sense and put it into your life in the time you can. Adding in, if too many ingredients, oh, I'm sensitive to everything, I can't take anything. Don't start with everything. Start with either just clean slate in a very small dose, or start with just give me back my youth and start healing and sealing that gut. It's okay. No one is saying you have to do all the things. We're saying that these are formulated to work together, stacking by biohacking. It is biohacking at its best, bioavailable to your body in microdosing, formulated by a nanobiotechnologist, bioscience engineer. And I know that there's so much fear mongering out there about, oh, nanobiotechnology. Then get to know the formulator. Take the time to get to know the formulator. You're here in Rumble, go over to our Rumble, scroll through, find the one that says the Ultimate Guardian and watch her, or watch the one that says a servant to Christ, and get to know her heart. Once you know her heart, you'll see why our hearts are the way they are, why we want to help people, why it's our mission and our goal to be here sharing with you. So I hope all of that is really helpful. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that if you are on a parasite journey, that you'll reach out to Bianca, because no one is more well-versed in this, in my opinion, than her. I believe that she is the top researcher, the top advocate, the top guidance. And even though we're not doctors, she's been through it. who's better to guide you through something than someone that's been through it and can speak to how it felt, what she used, why she used, her past trials of things and why they didn't work. And so when you talk about, I always say when I talk about you, you went from bedridden to thriving, and you were such a young person that broke my heart for you. But I'm actually so grateful that you took it upon yourself. You are now thriving. You're teaching others, because life is long. You know, life is long, and I want you to live a long and healthy life for as long as you possibly can. And I want that for all of the viewers too. So, Bianca, I thank you so much for once again joining me. I feel, we could probably be on here every week teaching everybody, and not teaching them as if they don't know anything, but adding to, just like you added to my research and I added to yours, coming together to add in all of the pieces to the puzzle to make a complete puzzle and to live a long and healthy life. So again, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me on here and for giving me a place to just share this and to let people know that, it can become your blessing in disguise as well. Just let it empower you, and you got this.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.